Akala I don't enjoy talking about gang violence, but someone has to. If you are one of Akala's 203,000 Twitter followers, you or among the millions to have nodded appreciatively at his recent viral news interviews on social media, you probably have a good sense of his ability to defuse the charged dialogue around London's youth violence epidemic with crisp, calm deployment of facts. From myth debunking, where do they find these people? Says Akala, shaking his head with weary disbelief. I mean, the youth violence problem in England and Wales, and specifically London, has appeared ever more severe in recent weeks. There have already been, at the time of writing, 6 teenage stabbing deaths in the capital this year, and Chancellor Philip Hammond has announced that police in England and Wales will get an extra £100 million to deal with the issue. And so, as where others have guessed or theorized at root causes, the Jamaican-British man also known as Kingsley Daly and younger brother of musician MS Dynamite deals in evidence and the experience of a tough archway childhood. He saw his first stabbing at 12. In a hypnotic cult on Channel 4 News earlier this month, 2.4 million Twitter views. A rapt Jon Snow looked on the verge of whipping out a notepad. Throw in natives. I am not desperate to be in front of the camera, and I don't enjoy talking about a lot of this stuff, to be honest, he says, square-jawed and buggishly handsome with a black beanie pulled over his neat dreads. But the narrative around we're acting as if somehow stopping and searching a black man on the way to the gym on a Saturday, because they've got a tracksuit on, is doing the public some sort of service. And it isn't. Glasgow has seen a massive reduction in violent youth crime, even though the city itself is more violent than London. If poverty, Akala voted for Corbyn in 2017 and has spoken in support of the Labour leader. Has he been approached? Away from politics, what he'll be achieving next is the publication of 2 new books, an illustrated history of the world for preschoolers and a young adult novel set in Elizabethan London. Writing is extremely hard, he notes, with a sigh. He is plotting a reach. There is an off switch, then. But for now you're not going to become Al Capone. You're going to wake up. Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire by Akala. 2 Roads is now available in paperback.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.